Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is August 15, 2016, and I'm going to review a new feature by JAWS 18. And I'm not going to talk about builds because I'm in non-disclosure, but I want to talk to you about something new that's been released in JAWS. By the time you listen to this, JAWS 18, this particular update, would have already been released. So since I am in non-disclosure agreement, I am not allowed to release it until the official release, but here it is. We're going to talk today about importing and exporting. This has been very interesting in the past with JAWS, and I want to share with you a new feature that's going to allow you to import and export all your information from prior versions of JAWS to new versions of JAWS. So if you have been dreading updating JAWS because you're losing all your settings, well, here's your opportunity to do that. So I'm going to read really quickly what it is using JAWS here, and pardon me if I'm going to skip build versions because I'm not allowed to discuss these kind of things, but here it is. Let's switch over to the Internet Explorer window where I have the actual release notes for this. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to slow down the speech because I know some of you are going to want to hear it a little bit slower. Slower. Here we go.
Land, heading level 2, completely new import and export for JAWS customized user settings.
So what we do is we have a new complete import export feature, and then I'm going to show you the export, not the import yet, but the export.
JAWS 18 now enables you to quickly and conveniently export all of your JAWS user settings, including application or default settings, custom scripts, dictionary entries, graphics labels, place markers, flexible web rules, and voice profiles to a single backup file which can be stored or shared with other JAWS users. The JAWS settings backup files are saved with an SBAK extension. This backup file can then be easily imported on any computer running JAWS 18 or later, and these settings will be used by that copy of JAWS.
Okay, so you see, any version of JAWS 18 or later you can use to export these items. And I want to make a note here, when you update to JAWS 18, this current build, what you're going to get is you're going to get the opportunity to take the settings that you had prior and put them in this version that's updated.
To export settings to an SBAK file, open the Utilities menu located in the JAWS application window. Open the Import/Export menu and select Export Settings. The Export Settings wizard opens and guides you through exporting your settings. During this process, you can choose to export all user settings.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that utility with you very shortly, but I just wanted to share this text here.
Or select specific settings to export. By default, the SBAK file is saved to the desktop using the name JAWS less version number greater settings backup left parent, where version number is the JAWS version currently running when using the export feature right parent. You can specify a different location and file name if necessary, as well as add optional comments to provide more information about why you are creating the backup. Once the export is complete, the SBAK file containing your settings can be shared with other JAWS users through email or a file sharing service such as Dropbox, or stored on the USB flash drive.
Okay, so here's a good deal here, that you can take these settings and provide them to a user who might need them, and then in turn that user can back up their settings and restore them. So this is a handy way to move over some settings that usually you cannot copy because they're machine or user independent or dependent.
To import JAWS settings from an SBAK file, open the Utilities menu located in the JAWS application window. Open the Import/Export menu and select Import Settings. The Import User Settings wizard opens and guides you through importing the settings. By default, the import will merge the settings.
Okay, so by default the import will merge the settings, but there's a way to actually override everything. I'm not going to show you that today, but I want to show you the release notes for this tool, and I also want to show you how it works.
From the backup file with existing user settings, and if a setting in the user folder conflicts with a setting from the backup file, it will be replaced by the setting from the backup. However, you can also choose to simply replace all current settings in the user folder with the contents of the backup, or when merging and there is a settings conflict, you can choose to keep the current setting.
Okay, there you go. So there's a way to replace a setting or keep the setting that you have.
During the settings import, the current settings in your user folder are automatically backed up. If you find that the settings that were imported from the SBAK file are not working as expected, you can restore the previous settings. To restore, open the Utilities menu located in the JAWS application window. Open the Import/Export menu and select Restore Settings. The Restore Settings dialog box opens where you can select the backup file to restore. Choose the Restore button to replace the current settings in your JAWS user folder with the settings from the backup.
Okay, so there's the deal. You've got everything you need in order to get this utility up and running. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but it said that you can get a backup. Okay, automatically a backup will be made when you do this settings restore. So feel comfortable that this is going to be all good to go.
Some instances of when you might use this feature include :
Okay, here are some instances when you might use this feature.
List of 4 items. Well, if you want to use the same JAWS settings on multiple computers, such as in the training center or school computer lab.
So you want to use the JAWS settings in multiple computers, and in that case, you could take it in the thumb drive and actually restore it.
Well, if you create a lot of customizations and you want to be able to back them up so you can easily import them when you install a new version of JAWS, eliminating the task of having to manually reconfigure everything.
So there, if you are constantly doing updates to your JAWS machine, then what you want to do, or your JAWS installation, what you want to do is you want to do a backup of your current state so that you can go back in case something happens where you mess up the installation.
Well, if a friend would like to use some of your flexible web rules and voice profiles, you could use the export settings wizard to only export these particular settings. Send the file to your friend, and if they are running JAWS 18 or later, they can import the file containing your flexible web rules and voice profiles into their copy of JAWS.
There you go. So flexible rules is one of those things where you can't just copy it because it's a .db file, but here's the way that you can do that.
Well, a script developer could send you a SBAK file containing custom scripts and settings for an application that is used at your job, and the import settings wizard will quickly import all settings and script files to the correct locations in your JAWS user folder.
There. So somebody can send you an SBAK file so that way you can restore scripts that are used within an application and you don't have to worry about unzipping and all that. So that's really a neat way to do that.
List N. Note: the new settings import and export feature replaces the outdated settings packager utility which was included with JAWS for many years.
Okay, see the settings packager utility has been removed, and that's a good way to actually segue into this, because you have an opportunity to have a tool that can allow you to import and export. This is well overdue, and thank you to Freedom Scientific for having this tool.
Heading level 3 migrate.
Okay.
Note: heading level 3 migrate settings from prior versions of JAWS.
Okay, so migrating settings from prior versions of JAWS, and I want to share this with you because I want you to have this information so that when you do your installation of this version of JAWS, you have everything that you need.
We have reintroduced the ability for users to move all user customized settings from the prior version of JAWS into the latest version. This includes any application or default settings, scripts, dictionary entries, graphics labels, place markers, flexible web rules, and voice profiles. When JAWS 18 first starts after an install, and it detects that there are custom user settings for JAWS 17 available, you will be asked if you want to migrate these settings to the current version of JAWS. Choose migrate if you want to use these settings, or choose cancel if you want to start with the default settings in JAWS 18.
So you see there's a way to now migrate everything that you have in your current version to the new version of JAWS. This is excellent.
Once the settings migration is finished, a results page displays providing detailed information about what settings were migrated. If you want, these results can be saved to a file for later viewing. Once you are done reviewing the migration results, choose OK to close the dialog box.
Okay, so there you go. You have a results window that's going to give you the information and the overview of what was done to your restore process.
Note: due to significant changes to the settings file structure prior to JAWS 17, custom user settings cannot be migrated from versions of JAWS older than version 17.
Okay, so if you had a version before 17, you're not going to be able to use this migration tool. It's just the way that the file structures have been changed. All right, so that makes a good overview of the import-export process. I'm going to show you now how to export, and I'm going to take you through the wizard because I think it's important to go through that. And then I'm going to close this tutorial, and I hope that this will help you, and feel free to comment down below and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, let's bring up the start menu here.
Command bar, start screen, mail, under.
What I'm going to look for here is I'm going to look for JAWS 18.
JAWS 18, utilities JAWS 18 app.
Okay, there is utilities, JAWS 18 app.
JAWS 18 app. JAWS 18 search. JAWS utilities JAWS 18, utilities JAWS
there,
enter.
that's what we want to do. All right, so here we go. Let's just go down here and find the export utility.
Items view multi-select list box. Explore error reports. Explore my settings. Explore scripts. Explore shared settings. Explore the manuals. Export settings.
There you go. Export settings.
Enter. Export user settings dialog. Select type export all settings radio button check.
So you have a way to select all settings or select individual settings. In this tutorial, I'm just going to show you how to export everything. In a future tutorial, I'm going to show you how to export individual items. So for now, I'm going to select
export all settings radio button check.
I'm going to tab over.
Tab next greater button.
And let's look through this interface really quickly to see what it looks like.
Tab cancel button. Tab select type export all settings.
So there you go. That's just
tab
it.
Next greater button.
I'm going to hit next.
Enter. Select the location and name for your backup file. Edit C:\users /Jose /desktop /JAWS 18 settings backup 1.stack.
Okay, so the idea here is that the default location of the backup is on the desktop. So let me go through the file name here so you can see.
N KAPS here 1 PUKCA BSGNITTES 81 SAAJ /.
Okay, we know that the folder is going to be on your desktop, so I'm going to go and just read the file name.
JAWS 18S E T T I N G S B A C K U P 1 period S B A K.
Okay, so JAWS settings backup 1.sbak.
A B S B A K blank.
Okay, let's tab through this interface really quickly here.
Tab browse button.
So you can browse and put the file in any location you want.
Tab comments left parent optional right parent edit.
Let's put a comment here. This
is
a test to provide a tutorial for the JAWS export process.
This is a test to provide a tutorial for the JAWS export process.
I think I misspelled the word provide, but that I'm just trying to make a point here.
Tab left back button.
So you can go back if you wanted to, so you can select the individual settings if you want, but we're going to hit tab.
Tab finish button.
Let's see what the dialog has. What else it has?
Tab cancel button. Tab select the location and name for your backup file. Edit C:\back tab browse tab comments left parent tab left back button tab finish button.
Okay, I'm going to hit finish here, and then we're going to get a summary dialog.
Enter utilities items view multi select list box export settings 8/15/2016 5:59 AM shortcut 2 KB 8:17 export results dialog details read only edit.
Here's the export details.
Export results.
The results. So let's go through here.
Top 1. User settings export was successful. 1. User settings export was successful. 1. User settings export was period. User settings export was success blank. 1. Use tab save the file button.
You can save the results to a file.
Tab OK button.
You can press OK here to dismiss this dialog box.
Tab details read only edit.
Let me hit
details read only edit 1. User settings export was successful. 1. User settings export was successful. Save the file button. OK button.
That's it. I'm gonna hit OK.
1. User settings tab save the file tab OK button. Enter utilities items view multi select list box export settings 8/.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the release notes for the new import and export utility for JAWS 18. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them down below or send me an email at blind tech channel CHANNEL @gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you.